Well, I'm out on the trek today. I don't know where I'm going because the weather is atrocious again, or more accurately still. And the route changes as I ride when the weather's really bad, because the wind is in a different direction to what they forecast, or if it's too dark I feel to be on main roads. If there's a lot of rain, car drivers hate us at the best of times, and they seem to be more impatient in the rain, and of course with the spray means you can't be seen as easily, so all of these things. And of course there's the flooding. So many roads are flooded because, well, I think it's about 10 months now where we've had pretty much continual rain. I'm using an older microphone today, so if the sound quality isn't that good I apologise, but I've destroyed a couple of microphones by getting them wet, and when you're riding and the rain is, we don't have light drizzle anymore, it's always torrential rain. Here we come to another bit of flooded road. This isn't the worst, of course. I mean, I normally turn down here, but that road has been flooded now for about 3 months. They keep talking about global warming, and I keep asking, where's mine? Anyway, enough about the weather. What I wanted to talk about today was pedals in light of the stuck shoe incident. So for those of you that haven't seen the video, one of the bolts had come out of the cleat in my shoe and got to a set of traffic lights and couldn't get my foot out because you're turning it and the cleat's staying where it is. It's quite a frightening experience. I fortunately wasn't very far from home, and I managed to go back, and fortunately I could get one foot out, so I rode home and leaned against the car and managed to get the shoe undone to get my foot out, and that was good. But I couldn't get the shoe out of the pedal, so I changed shoes and went out on the other bike, on this bike in fact, and at the time I questioned myself, why are you doing this? You're not racing anymore, why not just ride flat pedals? I've talked about this before, but there were a lot of similar comments. Why do you want to ride clipped in? And so I had a good think about it. I mean, one of the reasons is I've just bought a new pair of shoes. Anyway, thought I'd talk about why I ride clipped in and just basically the pros and cons, because people do get stuck in their pedals often, and not just from loose cleats, just from the springs being a bit tight and find themselves in a panic situation and can't get their foot out. So, well, first of all, let's dispel one of the myths. And one of the myths is that when you're clipped in, you can pull up on the pedal as well as push down. Well, I'm going to call bullshit on that one. You see, the reason they're called clipless pedals is because we used to have toe clips, and these were sort of cages that you put your foot in. I mean, it's amazing now looking back, because you had a cleat nailed to the bottom of your shoe. It was just a lump of metal with a slot cut into it, which went over the pedal, or the back end of the pedal. There was no float, there was no adjustment. You put your foot in until your toes touched the end of the cage, you clipped it into the pedal. So no forward and back movement, no sideways movement. You then had to lean down and pull a strap to tighten it. That's how I raced bikes. And as a track sprint champion, I can assure you there's nothing to be gained by trying to pull up on the pedal. You're using the wrong muscle set. In the old days where the cage would flex, and there's nothing to be gained. So the disadvantages of being clipped in are the fact that you need special pedals and shoes. So if you're using a bike for commuting, for example, it's more difficult to ride it with your work shoes. And the other disadvantage is you are stuck to the bike. So every time you stop, you need to unclip. And my suggestion is learn to toe the pedals. And what I mean by that is put your toe on the pedal and get it moving before you clip in, because that's sometimes what causes people to fall. Start off, try and clip, miss, foot goes forward and they fall over. So get the pedals moving so you've got some forward momentum, and then you've got time to find the clip-in position. And the other advantage is, and whenever you're not sure, you don't have to wait till you stop. You can clip out, toe the pedals just to keep moving till the situation has cleared itself, and then you clip back in. And I do that all the time. If I come up to narrow gaps I'm not sure about, just clip out, go through the gap, clip back in. I'll be honest, it's not a very nice day for cycling today. Anyway, back to the pedals. With all the disadvantages, you might be asking, what are the advantages then? Because we've already debunked one myth, and the two clearest advantages are, firstly, the pedalling efficiency is increased because you stay in the same position on the pedal all the way through the ride. And of course the other advantage is you're connected to the bike, which I know we said was also in the negative column, but the reason it's a good thing is you can ride without feeling like your foot is going to slip off the pedal. When you're powering up a hill on a wet day with your sneakers or your trainers on, you don't feel like your foot's slipping around and it's going to slip off the pedal. And if the hill gets too steep, that can become a disadvantage. It's happened to me a couple of times. When you're going along and the hill gets too steep and you don't know if you're going to make it. With flat pedals you don't care. because you just keep going till you can't go anymore. With clipped in feet, you think, what if I run out of energy, can't go anymore, and I haven't got time to get my foot out. So you feel like abandoning the hill earlier than you would normally. And that's another time where it's a good idea to toe the pedals so you can get your feet out that little bit early. And of course the other advantage of a cycling shoe is that the soles tend to be a bit stiffer for greater pedalling efficiency. But that's not to say you can't get some flat shoes with stiff soles. But personally, I use gravel shoes and gravel cleats and pedals, because road shoes, the cleats sit proud of the sole of the shoe, and they're great for cycling, but they're really bad for walking. And also, gravel cleats have a lot more float, and float is the side-to-side movement of your foot on the pedal, and that's a good thing, because sure, if you're a professional cyclist, you don't want your feet moving side to side, but you do need a seriously professional bike fit to make sure your foot is in exactly the right position, otherwise it'll damage your knee. Gravel shoes also have recessed cleats, so if you want to get off the bike and push it for any reason, or even just park the bike somewhere and walk away for a photograph, whatever it is, you can walk quite comfortably in gravel shoes. And the reason I started clipping in was purely and simply because I wanted some decent quality shoes for cycling. And I've got to be honest, I do like the feeling of the fact that my feet aren't going to slip off, and I do feel I pedal more efficiently. But that's a personal thing. Nobody should look down their nose at you if you just decide to ride flat pedals. It really is just a personal preference. And of course the industry drive to try and sell you something extra. And the main thing is, if you're out on a bike and you're enjoying yourself, that's all that counts. So how do you remove a stuck cleat from the pedal? Because you think, well, I turn my foot sideways and therefore the cleat's got to go sideways. And you mess around with a screwdriver and take all the skin off your fingers, but no. When you turn your foot, the cleat pushes the back of the pedal backwards, and that releases the spring. So get an Allen key, pull the back of the pedal, and the cleat pops out. I'm telling you this because I learned the hard way.